Everybody, welcome back to another edition of my Coffee Travels videos. Today we're talking all about Houston, Texas. Go Texans. I don't know what else is cool in Houston. While I was in Houston, I had a chance to go to a number of different shops. There's quite a few shops and some that I didn't quite get the chance to check out, and so I kind of had to pick and choose, do a little research before going, and then kind of pick and choose which ones I wanted to visit. So, if you've seen these videos before, you might guess that one of them won the prize. And if you can tell by this logo, you might be able to see who that is. So let's start with the one that I felt was the best. And it was BLACKSMITH Coffee. So BLACKSMITH Coffee is on the kind of west side of downtown. There are a lot of coffee shops in this area. It's kind of one of those neighborhoods where there's like a lot of yoga studios and restaurants and all that stuff. And this was my first time to Texas, so I had never been there, or not Texas, but my first time to Houston, and I'd never been there. And so you can kind of tell it's one of those kind of neighborhoods. So I walked in. It's a big open space. It was very busy. There was a lot going on. Of course, I had a cappuccino while I was there, and it was great. One thing that was really cool is I sat down to work, and on the back of my laptop, I have a Sweet Bloom coffee sticker. If you watch any of my videos, you know that Sweet Bloom they're some of my friends, and they do amazing things. And yeah, I'm very biased about the awesomeness that is Sweet Bloom coffee. However, so I have a Sweet Bloom coffee sticker on my laptop, and the guy, when he was bringing my cappuccino, the barista, he was like, "Oh, are you from Sweet Bloom?" And come to find out, they actually serve Sweet Bloom coffee there, and so it kind of created this cool, unique atmosphere. It kind of gave me like an in at BLACKSMITH. It wasn't solicited. I wasn't like trying to say, "Oh, I know these people, you should be really nice to me." But when they saw that, they were like, "Oh yeah, we love Sweet Bloom. When we go to Denver, we always go there, and we love their coffees." And so it was a really great conversation, and I just felt really welcomed, and it was just overall awesome. So it kind of gave me in. So I'm a little bit biased there just because of the Sweet Bloom connection. But again, the baristas were really nice. It's a multi-roaster cafe, so they have a bunch of different coffees that kind of rotate through. The cappuccino was good. I also ate breakfast there. I had oatmeal. And actually, again, just like if you saw my video about Seattle coffees, one of my favorite things about Storyville, which was my favorite shop there, was that they had a really great oatmeal as well. So sometimes it seems like oatmeal, you're like, can oatmeal be good? But it really can be. If done right, it can actually taste fantastic. And so, yeah, BLACKSMITH, great shop. One nice thing that I do like about coffee shops is when they have parking, especially if I'm traveling and I have a rental car. I don't want to have to, it's hard enough you don't know where you're going, so it makes it really nice when you can kind of just pull into a parking lot and park. But yeah, great atmosphere, great shop, great coffee, great people, also a connection for me back to Denver. So yeah, just kind of that one BLACKSMITH won as my favorite coffee shop. After that, I kind of traveled a little bit more towards the northwestern side of downtown and went to Catalina Coffee. Interesting enough, had I been able to find out this beforehand, I may not have gone, but I'm glad I ended up going because also another great shop, kind of tucked up into a little different neighborhood. I think it's like 3 or 4 miles away from BLACKSMITH, but they serve Amaya coffee. So I also had plans to go to Amaya, which is downtown, and they are an actual roaster. And Catalina serves Amaya coffee, and so had I known that they served Amaya, I may not have gone, but I'm glad that I did because again, it was cool little build out. It's a smaller space, but I think really well done. Has this rustic feel, but it was very comfortable, and a rustic feel that didn't feel cheap or underwhelming or kind of dirty or dingy that I've kind of experienced with some other shops. So it was really nicely done. These cool bench seats that were really neat, especially a great way to make use of a really small space. There is a roaster here in Colorado that I really enjoy, and the one thing that frustrates me is just how they laid out their furniture in their cafe. It's a small space, and they have all these little like really heavy small square tables that are just like jammed together to fit all these people into one spot, where this kind of bench seating I felt worked really well because people weren't afraid to kind of sit next to each other and use the space. So it allowed for the same amount of people without feeling crowded, and I feel it just worked really well. So it'd be something I'd like to see this other roaster kind of do. The coffee was good. Again, it was Amaya, which is a roaster that I planned on visiting that is downtown. And the coffee was good. The service was good. The location was cool. Again, another one that had parking behind the building, which is nice. So I really enjoyed that. So Catalina Coffee, again, really good coffee shop. Definitely check them out. And the last one is Amaya downtown. Again, I guess the one unique thing about Amaya downtown versus Amaya, having Amaya coffee at Catalina is you can kind of taste like, okay, well, how does the roaster serve the coffee versus how does a multi-roaster cafe or a cafe that's not roasting serve the coffee. And the coffees were pretty comparable. Oh, and I should also mention that all locations had oat milk, which is what I prefer in my cappuccinos. I prefer that to any other dairy alternative, so also a bonus. Yeah, Amaya, really beautiful build out. It's downtown. Ironically, it was the only cafe that I could find in the downtown area. There's another one that's a little bit kind of in the northeastern side of the downtown region of downtown Houston. But just looking at it, it kind of felt like it's one of those cafes that's kind of on the edge. And so it was one of the ones, I've been to multiple cities. Like when I was in Providence, there was a coffee shop that even got featured on some coffee news sites, industry sites like Sprudge. And then I went there and it was totally kind of like that old school mom and pop, cheaper coffees, really darkly roasted. Just not my cup of tea, or I should say not my cup of joe, maybe, or my cup of coffee. But yeah, so Amaya, I mean, very unique space downtown, beautiful cafe, beautiful coffees. Again, really awesome space. I didn't spend too much time there because it was the third one. I kind of, in one morning, it was the third cafe I'd gone to, a lot of coffee, but, and I can only handle so much coffee, and I even love coffee, which most people don't know about me. Most people are like, how much coffee do you drink? And honestly, generally, it's like a cappuccino in the morning, maybe a coffee or a cappuccino around after lunch, like 1 or 2, and then that's it. So I'm not like a 4 pots of coffee a day kind of person. And there's also a lot of, if you are an endurance athlete and you like to do endurance sports, then it's probably also why you're watching this page. But there's also a lot of research, if you go on PubMed, that will talk about the efficacy of caffeine once you hit like 600 milligrams a day. And there's actually some detriments rather as opposed to the benefits of caffeine. So not intentionally trying to avoid that 600 milligrams, but it's just something that once I learned that, it kind of justified my reasons for only really having 2 coffees a day in most times. And a lot of times I will do one, just one. So yeah, so just to wrap up and kind of keep this short, my 3 favorite cafes in Houston were BLACKSMITH, yay BLACKSMITH, Catalina Coffee, and then Amaya Coffee Roasters were kind of my 3 favorites. If I missed anybody or feel that there's any ones that I should have checked out, leave a note below. Oh, and on that, the one that I wanted to check out, there is a new coffee roaster, and I can't remember the name. Hold on one second, be right back. In the back. Okay, so there was one that I wanted to check out, but when I drove by, it still wasn't open. It was called Tenfold Coffee. So Tenfold, I'd kind of heard a little bit about, through the industry, I'd heard a little bit of buzz about them, and they've got this really cool new build out going. And I was hoping that it was going to be open because they said fall of 2019. However, it wasn't open. So if I can get back, I definitely would want to check out Tenfold. I definitely would go back to Amaya if I was staying downtown. Beautiful shop, beautiful coffees, and they're a roaster, so also it's cool when a cafe is roasting their own coffees. But BLACKSMITH was probably my favorite, just because of the really warm, welcoming feeling I got from the staff and the Sweet Bloom connection. So again, I'm biased. All right, I know. Don't hammer me in the comments. I know I'm biased. So yeah, so BLACKSMITH, Catalina, and Amaya coffee roasters. Check those out if you're in Houston. And if you're watching this at a later date, go check out Tenfold because they're building a brand new beautiful facility that wasn't open when I was there, and I wish it was open. So go check that out as well, and then let me know if it's good. So again, thanks for all your support. If you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, you know the drill, and leave me a comment below if there's any cafes that you think I should check out, or if you haven't, check out my coffee shop map. So if you're traveling and you're looking for good cafes in the area, go to overacupofjoe.com. There you'll find coffee shops that I pinned all over the world that I've been to. And so definitely check those out. And if you feel that there's a shop that should be added, I have a bunch of my friends that tell me all the time about shops that I should add that are really good. And so I'm always trying to keep that map updated. So check that out as well. And as always, coffee, pedal, repeat.